everybody, it's finally time for us to start scaping our 10-gallon aquarium. Now, as I've mentioned in my previous videos, I'm scaping this for my daughter. So I've got some dragon stone, I've got some dragon wood, we've got all the bits and pieces we need to get started on it. So yeah, let's just crack on with it. So this is a tank. So this is a Superfish Scaper 45. It comes as a kit aquarium, so you get the light, you get a hang-on back filter. I'm not going to be using the hang-on back filter. I did have it in this tank, but I found that there was a bit of an issue with the flow, and I did get some cyanobacteria, so I'm not going to use it for this build. I do have a new filter that I'm going to use, which is a Seachem Tidal 35, which I've never used before. So I can't wait to get started on that. For those of you who don't know, this used to be home to my Harlequin Rasboras, which I made a new tank for them, which is just next to it here. They're doing fantastic. As you can see, the tank is doing really well as well. We've got some rummy nose tetras in there as well. So yeah, the tank is doing absolutely fantastic. But anyway, we are not here for that. We are here to scape this tank. So let's get on with it. Right, so, okay, so in this bucket I've got all the wood, got the rocks at the bottom. I have soaked this wood, but we might need to still glue it down to the rocks, just to make sure it doesn't move or anything like that. So, so I'll just move that out of the way. Now we've got this sort of silver sand that we're going to use. We're going to use that to cap everything off. That's my daughter's choice. I've got different ones, but she chose that one, so that's fine. Okay, so in here, let me just bring you into the light. It's so dark in this room, but in here we have all sorts of, this is crushed lava rock, Nutribase, and yeah, all sorts of things. Now that came out of the tank when we stripped it down. You can see that in the strip down video that I did. So we're going to use that as a base layer just to sort of prop up or bulk up the back of that. I'm going to create a bit of a slope towards the back, getting thinner towards the front. That'll just give us a little bit of height and a little bit of depth to the tank. This was probably, I think this has been used in the tank for about, I don't know, maybe about a year, maybe just longer than a year. So there will be some nutrients in there, but obviously a lot of it will have depleted. So we're going to bulk that up a little bit. So I've got some pond soil, which I'll put on top of this, and I'll add some root tabs. And then once I've done that, I'll cap it all with that lovely silver sand that's there. The pond soil I use is this Velda one. Really cheap. I think that was about £8 for a 10-litre bag. And yeah, it's lasted a long time, that has. For those of you that don't know, pond soil is a really good way of using a compost in your aquarium for the roots, and it has a lot of the sort of organics removed or floated off, which just means that if you get a little bit in the water, it's not going to cause like an algae outbreak or anything like that. You will have seen this on a well-known YouTuber's channel who uses pond soil, and to be fair, why reinvent the wheel? It works extremely well. Since I've moved to this system, I've honestly, like, plant growth and everything has been brilliant. So yeah, fair play. So I'm gonna carry on using that system. It works well for me. So yeah, we're just going to start by putting some of this old substrate in, and well, yeah, we'll start putting this in. Like I say, we're going to build it up at the back, give us some height. So yeah, I'll speed this bit up because this will take a while. So as you can see there, we've put all the old substrate in. We built it up at the back. Now it is a bit higher on this side, so we want to pull some of that back a little bit. I don't quite want it that high on one side and not on the other. So as you can see there, just got a gradual sort of slope there. I don't want anything too much because we're going to be putting some pond soil on top of here, and then we're going to be putting some, I'm just going to sprinkle some root tabs on over here as well. So that's that side, and that side probably just needs to go up a little bit more, so we'll bank that up a little more. So yeah, that's much better. Okay, so we've got our base layer down. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to put some pond soil over the top, not too much, and then I'm just going to break some root tabs and sprinkle those across the top as well, and then we can cap it, and then we can get started on our hardscape. As I said before, I'm using this Velda pond soil, so just grab a few handfuls of this and we'll just sprinkle it just across, just to bulk up the nutrients that are in there. Any big clumps, we're just going to break those up. So yeah, let's get some more. You don't want to have too much of this. Just a sprinkling is more than enough. As I say, we're going to cap it anyway, so that'll just lock it all in place. Just make sure there's no parts where there's like a certain lump of pond soil. Just make sure it's all evenly distributed. So we can do that. Yeah, so that's probably about enough, to be honest with you. As I say, we're going to be adding some root tabs to this as well, which I've got just down here. So I think in this one, yeah. So just these ones. These are just off Amazon, and to be honest, they're quite good. They're a lot cheaper than like the leading brands. There is a link in the description if you're interested. What I'll do is I'll break probably, I think maybe 3 of these. I'm just going to break them up and just sprinkle them across the top. So yeah, as you can see, we've got our base layer, we've added some root tabs that we've just broken open and sprinkled them, we've mixed up our pond soil, and we've got a nice enough layer there. That's before we cap it. Break that chunk up there. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the little spade tool, and I'm just going to bring this away from the edge because I don't want to see, when I put the sand over the top, I don't want to see this edge. The same with this side, I don't want to see any of this. I want that to look like a nice edge with the sand, so I'm just going to pull that across, and then we can cap it with sand then. There we go. That is really bright. Let me just turn that down. There we go. So we've got our sand in. As you can see, we've got quite a deep substrate there, which is plenty to plant into. Just tidy that edge up there a little bit. So yeah, as you can see from the front, we've got this sort of illusion of depth now. So it's obviously shallower at the front and it's deeper at the back, and that's where the bulk of our plants are going to be. So yeah, we can start experimenting with the hardscape now. So that's what we've sort of settled with, which I think that looks really, really nice. If I move around, I've got that. Oh, in fact, there is one thing I did forget, and that was, this is my daughter's tank. See, I'm getting carried away here. This is my daughter's tank, and she wants this little ornament, which I've no idea what it's from. So if you do know what this is from, what this character's from, just let me know in the comments, because I have no idea. So we need to get him in there somehow and make him look like he's part of it. Oh, that's going to be tricky. So let's have a look. Let's see where he can go. What if we try just here? Oh, that is good. I like that. That's what I was concerned about, you see. I was worried that how could I make it look like it was part of a natural scape without it being, you know, too much. And I think that works well. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Maybe, go on camera, maybe something there. Bit of a gap there, which I'm not really keen on. I'll see if I've got a small piece of dragonstone for that. And then if we're happy with that, we need to glue it really. I have soaked this wood. I soaked it in the bath for a couple of days, and it's very heavy. So I don't think, certainly not this big piece, I don't think that's going to float. But obviously when I'm cleaning things, I don't want it to move. So I'm definitely going to glue this in several different places. I think I've got about 4 points to aim for. Definitely here, down there, and then put a nice big lump of dragonstone there. So we should be able to just glue down there as well. And then this little piece, we need to glue that. So again, I'll glue that to a couple of places. And that should be that really. What I might do actually, I might glue this piece to here. So we're going to use some super glue gel for that, which I've got down here. Now this is just a cheap brand, and you can use whatever you like. Just make sure that it is ethyl to cyanoacrylate. And what this does is, as soon as it gets in contact with water, it just sets hard. And yeah, it's safe for fish and everything, so no issues. So yeah, I'm going to get that glued, and then that should be the hardscape done, hopefully. What I do now is I just want to leave a bit of time just for the glue to set. I'm probably just going to leave it overnight. It's getting quite late here now. Just make sure that glue's set and that wood and rock's not going anywhere. If it doesn't set, I'll probably just put some more on. I'm just conscious that I've been moving quite a lot around, so I don't really want to mess with it anymore, because I'm quite happy with the way it is. So as you can see there, I think that is looking really, really nice. And I managed to get the little Groot ornament in there at the back as well, sort of like it's just peeping over the rocks, which I think she'll really like. So yeah, I think we're going to leave it there for tonight, and I will bring you back tomorrow when we do a little bit more on it. But yeah, I'm really liking the way that's looking so far. So we're back, it's day 2. Well, not for me, it's not day 2. It's been a couple of days since we did the hardscape. I've just been busy with work and things. So yeah, we brought you back. All of that is glued. We had a bit of an issue because I used a cheap brand. I used this brand, which I never used before. It's just what they had, but it was a little bit thin. So I went back to the shop and I got some of the Gorilla super glue gel, which is the one I usually use. So off camera I've gone back through the glue points, re-glued them, and it's set a lot better now. So I'll just show you, and then we can move on to the next bits. So you can see just down there, you see where it's just white there? That's what should happen with the super glue gel. But for some reason with that cheaper brand, it wasn't doing that, and it wasn't giving me any confidence. So I've re-glued it, and I mean that's pretty solid now, to be fair. I don't think that's going to float, but what we're going to do is I'm going to get some detail gravel, not too much because I want to put some I'm going to put some carpeting plants down here. So I'm going to put some detail gravel in around here, and then what I want to do tonight is I want to fill this up, leave it overnight, make sure that wood's not floating, and if it's all okay, then tomorrow, yeah, if it's all okay tomorrow, then I can go to the fish shop and get some more plants. I've got some plants that were in this already, which are in a holding tank at the moment. I'm going to be using those. I'm going to buy some more plants as well. So yeah, I'll leave it overnight with the water and hopefully it doesn't float, and we can just crack on with it. So let's get that detail gravel in. So yeah, just going to grab some of this. Like I say, I don't want too much of it. Knock it all over the floor. Yeah, I think that's going to be enough. I don't want too much. I just want a little bit of detail just to break up that sand, because there's a lot of it. So if we stand back a little bit, as you can see, it just kind of gives it a bit of something. Yeah, I think that'll do. As you can see from the top there as well, just in a few places. Okay, so the last thing we need to look at is this ornament, because as you can see, it's open, and I do want to put a plant in there, so I'm going to have to find a way to bring that out. You can see with this ornament, it is open at the top, and there's a nice hole there where all the sand will fall out, so I'm going to need to plug that in some way. So my feeling is that I can put a stone in there, maybe glue it, which will cover that hole, and then I can put a little bit of pond soil in the bottom, just a tiny bit, and then cap it with some sand, and then we could maybe put she mentioned that she'd like maybe dwarf hairgrass or something. I'm thinking just like a clump of hairgrass in the top there, which might work quite well. So yeah, we'll have a look at that and see if we can sort that out. Yeah, so I think I've found perfect stone. You can see there it's quite flat, and I'll try. I don't know if you can see that, it's quite dark now, but that fits nicely over that hole. There you go. So I'm just going to glue that, and then we can put some pond soil in there. And try and not glue my fingers. But you watch, I probably will end up gluing my fingers. So hopefully that'll stay in position. I forgot to press record so you didn't see me pouring the sand in, but so they've just got a bit of pond soil down the bottom and then some silver sand over the top. And if I turn you around to where that hole is, which is just there. At the moment no sand is coming out, so hopefully that will stay, and then we can just put a nice plant in the top. So I'll get this back in the tank now. I've just managed to glue my socks to the floor. Oh dear. Get that filled up and hope that that wood does not float. So wish me luck. Made a bit of a mess down here, and yeah, don't glue your socks to the floor, guys. So we are filled up, as you can see, and the wood has not floated. Well, not yet anyway. So I'm going to turn the pump on. I just want to make sure there's some water movement. Obviously there's no media in that filter. I'm just going to run it without any media for now. Leave it overnight to make sure that that still doesn't float. And if it's okay, I can go and get some plants tomorrow, drain the water back down, and then we can start planting, fill it back up again. Okay, so the filter's turned on, which is good. At least we know that's working. So yeah, I'll just let that run through. I'll let it run through overnight, and all being well, we can drain this back down tomorrow and go and get some plants. As you can see some glue marks there where it's white. We'll cover that with some plants. And probably some epiphytes like anubias, which will just stick on those bits. You won't even see any of that. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Hi everyone, so we're finally back. This is day, I think 3, but for you guys obviously it'll just continue from the video. I went to a couple of my local fish shops to try and get some plants, but for some reason I just didn't have what I wanted. They had a lot of plants, but a lot of the same sort of variety. And they seemed a bit old. I don't know if maybe people are not buying so much now in the lead up to Christmas. But obviously I like to support local fish shops wherever possible. On this occasion, I've had to order online. But I've ordered online from this company before. It's a company called Aquarium Gardens. And the quality of the plants and the delivery and everything, they're a really good online store. Certainly go and check them out. I've had a few things from them now, and the plants have arrived. So just before I show you the plants, I just want to show you the tank. So this has now had a good few days now to settle. As you can see, the wood is nice and secure, it hasn't floated. The filter, again, there's no media in it, but it's running fine. So I just wanted to get some water movement in just to make sure that that wood wasn't going to go anywhere, and it hasn't. Obviously it's leached quite a lot of tannins, which we don't mind that. But what we need to do really before we start planting, and I'll show you the plants in a minute, is we need to get this water drain down to probably about, I don't know, maybe there-ish. And then we can start planting. So yeah, let's get that water out. Okay, so we've got our plants. So as I'm preparing the plants, I'm just going to put them in this tray. This came with a previous order, but I've kept it because it's really handy. So I'm going to pop that over there. So here are our plants from Aquarium Gardens. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So I didn't order too many because if you remember from the breakdown video, I've got some that I took out of that tank in a storage tank in the other room, which I'll show you in a minute. We'll just unpack these ones. So let's open this bag, very well packaged. Okay, so the first plant we've got is Now this one was actually requested by my daughter specially. This one is Ahaquariums aquarius, which is dwarf hairgrass to you and me. You can see from the quality of that. The good thing about aquarium gardens is all the plants they sell are all different ones. So this is an aquaflora one. There's some tropical ones here as well. So I'll just put that to one side for a moment. We've also got some Rotala rotundifolia. That will go in the back as our stem plant. We've got Cryptocrine Wentai Brown. Again, this is another aquaflora one. But you can see the quality of the plant is just ridiculous. This is one of my favourites, this one. This is a tropical plant. This is Hygrophila polysperma rosenavig. And the tops of these leaves go a nice pink colour as they get closer to the light. It's a very nice little plant, that one. And the last one out of this bag is, again, another favourite of mine. It's a Bucephalandra. This is a Thea one. Again, this is an aquaflora one as well. But you can see the quality of those. It's just very, very good. Definitely go and check out aquarium gardens. So I'll pop those to one side. Get those prepared in a second. In vitro pots, or the 1-2 grow pots from Tropica. You get quite a lot in there. These tend to be more expensive, but you do get a lot in there. This will be a carpeting plant that we're going to use at the front. Again, you can see quite a lot of. In fact, there might be too much of this because I actually got 2 pots of it. 2 pots of that. So we'll what we'll do first, I think, is we're going to start with the epiphyte plants first, which are the ones we're going to glue to the wood and to the rocks. So we'll put these to one side for the time being. That'd be a good idea to take you off the tripod just so you can see. So I've just placed this Anubias bonsai just here. It's on a little pebble anyway, so I've just wedged it in between that wood and the rock. And we've just wedged some Anubias in here as well. So you can see straight away how it starts to transform the tank. So we're just going to carry on. I think we'll start gluing some of the plants now to here, just to cover up some of the glue marks. So yeah, you can just see from the top there that, again, as soon as you put the plants in, it just starts lifting the whole thing. It's really good. But yeah, these have come out of this tank anyway, so they've gone in there nicely, really. So I think we'll get some Windelov in there. Probably going to try and wedge some there, I think. Maybe just hook it on. I want to use as little glue as possible, if I can. So yeah, I'm just going to see if I can place this in that gap there. Obviously over time this will attach anyway. It will attach itself to the wood and the rocks. So yeah, I think that looks quite nice there. Gives it a nice bit of shade to that Anubias down there. Yep. So that's the first piece. I think we might try and wedge another piece just here somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to try that now. Yeah, I think that piece just sits nicely there. Yeah, that one's not going anywhere. There we go. Yeah, I think that's nice there. So yeah, it's looking good so far. And that's just with epiphytes. It's just come out a little bit. There you go, you can see it starting to transform. So we'll just carry on at that rate. Okay. So this is what we've got so far. So we've got some Windelov just there. I put a piece of that Bucephalandra thria. I've just shoved it in between one of the holes in the dragonwood, which I don't want to hide too much of that dragonwood, but I think it looks quite nice there. And that's wedged in, I don't need any glue there. We've got our Anubias Nana just here. We've got some, sorry, that's Nana Bonsai there. We've got some Anubias Nana just wedged in between the rocks here. Some Windelov there, and then we've got our other boost there that we've just glued to that rock at the front. So that's what it's looking like from the top. So I think that's probably enough epiphytes. We can probably start to actually plant now. So I'm going to start with the foreground. So I'm going to put our Halantium tenellum green in the front here. That'll carpet nicely. So yeah, I'll start putting that down there. And then we can move on to the stem plants at the back. Now, I should have enough stems. If I don't, I'm going to harvest some Ludwigia Mini Super Red from my other tank and place it in the back. As you can see, we do have quite a lot of room for stems at the back. So I want to pack that out a lot. But we'll start with the, actually before we start with the foreground, let's get some crypts in. Now I've got a piece of Crypticrini Flamingo, which I'm going to place there, and another one there. Again, they came out of this tank, but I'm going to do that. So yeah, I'll get those ready now. So this is what we've got so far. So everything's nicely glued. We've got all of our foreground plants in. Way too many that I bought. So time to put some, got this dwarf hairgrass that we're just going to pop in the top of Mr. Groot there. And then we can move on to the stems at the back. So I've had to switch to my phone. Hopefully the footage is just as good. Might be better actually. My camera battery died. So it died just as I was putting this grass in here. So yeah, I'm going to go with that in there. We've had to put this Bucephalandra here just to cover the glue mark on that rock, which means that Groot has been hidden a little bit. I'm hoping when the water is in the tank, it'll just make it all raise up a little bit and you might be able to still see him, hopefully. But that's what we've got so far, which I think looks really good. Obviously nothing at the back just yet, so we're going to move on to that now. Okay, so we just planted that Crypticrini Wentai Brown just there. This will fill out this area because it's right underneath the filter outflow, so I don't want it pushing it around. So I'm going to leave this area empty here, plus I need to put our heater in just here as well, so we can move on with the rest of the stem plants along the back here. Okay, so that's our Hygrophila rosa vinig, Polysperma rosa vinig I think that's what it's called. That's all in. So we can move on to our Rotala rotundifolia now, which is here. So we can start getting this one prepared. I'll prepare this off camera and then I'll start putting it in. So that's our rotundifolia prepared. As you can see, there's quite a lot of stems there. So what I'll do is I'll plant the first one and then I'll jump forward to when they're all planted. So it's getting just behind this big piece of wood here. There we go. So yeah, that'll sit there. So we'll just fill up the rest of this section now. So I think we're just about done on the planting. As you can see, that's what we're looking like. Apologies that I couldn't take you fully on all the planting because my camera died and I can't hold my phone and plant as well. So yeah, as you can see, everything's in there and I'm leaving that gap there for everything to grow into. So yeah, we can start filling it back up and then I'll give you some final shots. Actually, before we do that, I just need to put this heater in. So I've gone for this Hygger mini heater. Never used it before. And the reason I've gone for this one over the Fluval T series that I normally use, because I don't want anything too imposing in the tank taken away from the scape. So I thought I'd give this little heater a shot. And I like the idea that this has got like an external temperature control, so you don't have to put your hands in the tank. So we're going to get that on the tank and then fill it up. Hi everyone, so we're back and our tank is looking absolutely fantastic. Look at that. I'll take you in for a close look in a minute. And yeah, as I say, escaping this for my daughter. She's not seen it yet, so I'm going to try and get a reaction and fingers crossed she likes it, because if she doesn't, oh, I'm in trouble. But let's have a quick look first before she comes in. What do you think of the tank?
It's really, 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 really good.
Is it? What do you like the most about it?
That what the Groot has some grass in his hair.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, let me see.
So yeah, that was a great result. I'm glad she likes the tank. Hopefully you guys like the tank as well. I've certainly enjoyed building it. And yeah, look out for my next video. And if you did like this video, please consider leaving a like, subscribe if you're new, and drop me any comments in the comment box. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye guys.